Now, when it comes to fraud, I mentioned earlier, I think, Minnesota is just kind of the tip of the iceberg. When you really start looking into this and you realize how much fraud is happening literally all around us. And I'm just wondering, when it comes to the issue of fraud in Minnesota, why Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison is still why is he still walking around free? Because the more you look into Keith Ellison, the more it's just like the same onion. It's just like that. It just stinks to high heaven. And when you start looking into this, it feels a whole lot. You guys tell me in the comments. Once I bring the receipts, it feels a whole lot like Keith Ellison may have been pulling off a long con, I mean decades long, just to facilitate Somalian fraud. It seems like this has been his goal for a very long time. So let's go back a little bit, okay? Before Keith Ellison was Attorney General, he was in Congress. He served in Congress from 2007 to 2019. And so that's quite a while. I'm not a mathematician, but that's 12 years. And you would expect that in 12 years serving in Congress, there would be a lot to show for it, right? He will have had a bunch of bills that he sponsored that passed, and he had a lot he did turn into the Minnesota AG. So obviously he was successful, except it turns out there's only one single solitary bill that he sponsored that ended up becoming law. Just this one, okay? Money Remittances Improvement Act of 2014. It's the only one out of the 12 years that ended up becoming law that Keith Ellison sponsored. Money Remittances Improvement Act of 2014. What did it do? Well, it made it easier for non-bank financial institutions like money service businesses to provide remittance payments internationally, which, of course, is sending American money to foreigners across the world. It's something that we have tried to, our ideas here in America First Land is that there should not be remittances. And if there is a remittance that's sent to another country, you guys should be heavily penalized for sending money that should be invested in the American economy over to your shithole country. But Keith Ellison was actually, we should be doing this. So in Keith Ellison's own words, I want to play for you this resurfaced interview that he did with, I'm not kidding you guys, I didn't even realize this was a thing. It's called the Mogadishu Times. Watch.
We just have met officials from the Somali money transfer companies and officials from the Franken Bank. What was the discussion about, Congressman?
Well, first of all, let me say salam alaikum, Ilyas. It's good to be here with you with the Mogadishu Times. The discussion focused on how we can keep money flowing to Somalia.
Oh.
Quite simply, one of the banks that helps to facilitate remittances from the United States to Somalia has now become worried about the degree of risk. They're worried that they could end up being prosecuted on a criminal basis or having the regulations come on them, because recently a lady named Amina Ali was convicted of gathering money for Al-Shabaab and then using a service to transmit that money. This bank was not used to transmit the money, but they fear that if somebody were to do that the government would come down on them, so that they're saying that they're just going to stop doing it.
So this guy's actually, let me tell you why we need to be sending more money to Somalia. The money cannot dry up in Somalia. They need all the help that they can. Their IQ's not high. They need our help. It's actually so incredible that all of this was out there. All the breadcrumbs were there this entire time. This has actually been an operation for a very long time for Keith Ellison. And I want to play for you his argument in well, here's why, because we, send money to Israel, it's very, very comparable. It's very similar, you see, the Somalia cause. Watch.
Israel. You know good and well that the United States supports Israel. I'm going to tell you why. Because Jewish Americans demand it. As citizens of the United States, it's their right to do so. So why would we sit up in this room as American citizens and not say, hey, look, American government, my government, the government where I say I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, why would you where you pay your taxes, where you raise your kids, where you send your children to the army, why would you not ask your government to help the U.S.-Somali relationship? Am I making any sense to everybody?
No.
So, now, everybody in here needs to argue for the U.S.-Somali relationship.
No.
Don't come to an American congressman talking only about Somalia. Talk to him about how America's relationship with Somalia is mutually beneficial, right?
No, not right. Keith, please show your work on this. I need to see your work. Please give me receipts on how it's mutually beneficial. This is a third world country with people who are inbred, and not my opinion, it's literally fact that they are like almost retarded level IQ. So I don't understand. Well, in the case of Ilhan Omar, she's there. She meets the threshold for that. I don't understand why. Now, I am happy to engage in an argument that we shouldn't be sending the money that we're sending to Israel either. But you at least can say, yeah, Iran very much wants to dismantle Israel and us, and we do have that shared vested interest. How in the world could you ever make that argument on Somalia? There's no argument there that it's mutually beneficial for us to send money to a war-torn country who then, in return, all they do is send us assholes like Ilhan Omar and Omar Fateh. I'm the captain now. That is not, we got the raw end of that deal, I'm just going to say. But on a serious note, lock him up. We need accountability for all of this corruption that has been happening for decades completely unchecked. Please, President Trump. That will be making America great again.